Shalom. Call all y'all about Shem Shah. Shalom to the elect. It's just a breaking news video on the Akim sent me just recently. And it was talking about how Trump says Iran planning a sneak attack on U.S. troops, which right now would be a perfect time for them because you got all this stuff going on. Troops moving in position to help people out with this virus and all this stuff. So basically, the guard is let down. But ultimately, why this stuff is happening really in the book of Deuteronomy, it goes into why this stuff is happening. Now, Deuteronomy chapter 32, I'm going to just jump to the main points. And Lord's willing, this be edifying. Now, in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 16, it says, they provoked him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed it to devils, not to Yahweh, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that they came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. And you got this Easter shit coming up, which goes back into Ishtar, the goddess of fertility, and that's basically sacrificing to an idol. And our people gonna be celebrating that. And some heavy judgment can go down around this time too, because it ain't like the word ain't been out. Plenty of Akim made videos about Easter and going back into the root word, which when you look it up, it'll let you know exactly what it is. But let me pull it up real quick. As soon as I type it in, there you go right there. Easter comes from Ishtar. It said Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. So it ain't got nothing to do with the Lord. Ain't got nothing to do with no damn bunnies and no eggs. It says her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with resurrection? Which most people do, because they simple and they don't research nothing, they look nothing up. And you have people get ready, oh, let me go get my Easter suit, my little Easter outfit. Hey man, the Most High finna pour out some heavy judgment on this place, just because people want to be ignorant. Now, reading on some more, it says, jumping down to verse 19, it says, and when the Lord Yahweh saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. Because our people don't have no faith in these scriptures. They don't have no faith in Yahushua coming back to deliver us from this actual place. Now reading on some more, verse 21, it says, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Yahweh. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. Say, for a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn into the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spin my arrows upon them. And back into this topic about the arrows. It said, what is a code name for a lost nuclear weapon? It says, since 1950, there have been 32 nuclear weapon incidents known as broken arrows. A broken arrow is defined as an unexpected event involving nuclear weapons that result in the accidental launching, firing, detonating, theft, or loss of the weapon. To date, 6 nuclear weapons have been lost and never recovered. This is in 2013. Now, back to this in the book of Deuteronomy. We'll talk about these arrows. It says back in verse 23, it says, I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spin my arrows upon them. In verse 24 it says, they shall be burnt with the hunger and devoured with burning heat and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them with the poison of serpents of the dust. So what's about to come to this place? Because when you've been looking at the news, if you've been looking at the news, because a lot of people, they don't like to watch the news. They say it's too much sad stuff and all this other stuff happening, but it's real stuff that's going on though. They don't want to see that. They rather stay in this little fairy tale mind frame. Well, in these past years, all this judgment been taking place, whether it be over in India, over in Egypt, over in China, Japan, Russia, England, all these different regions of the world, New Zealand, and the Most High been saving the worst for last. So, and the last is over here in this region right here that we in. So it says, in verse 25 says, the sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. So all that God is love, God love everybody. Hey, that don't sound like he love everybody right there. He said he gonna get the young man and the virgin. The suckling was talking about the baby, because you know babies they suck on a woman's breast. And it says also the man of gray hairs, talking about the old hairs too, because you got some old people that don't take heed to these words. So hey, it's gonna be heavy death out here, man. Now reading out some more, the main point I want to get to, that I'm gonna let this video play. Let me see. All right, here we go. Me and Akim was just talking about this yesterday. This in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, reading on some more down to verse 27. It says, "Were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest the adversaries should behave themselves strangely, and lest they should say, our hand is high, and the Lord Yahweh have not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them." And that's how this nation is, void of counsel. And they don't understand what's really going on, because people bugging out, trying to figure out what's going on. But hey, the scriptures right here break down what's going on. Now reading on some more. It says, "Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, and they would consider their latter end." Because if they understood that they took the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi from the west coast of Africa, and also what they did to the other tribes, Naphtali, Asher, Reuben, Gad, Simeon, Zebulun, Manasseh, Ephraim, Issachar, then they would understand, like, oh snap, we mess around with the Most High people. We gotta let them go. But they're not wise and they don't understand, so they ain't think about none of that. Now, reading into this, it also talks about what's gonna happen to these troops they're gonna send in, because they're gonna send in troops to come after certain men. Some men might be martyrs, but the ones that's not gonna be martyrs, that spiritual power gonna come upon them. And this right here gonna take place too. In verse 30 it says, "How should one chase 1,000? One man gonna be able to wipe 1,000 men out." It's just gonna be like that. And it says, "And two put 10,000 in flight, except that rock has sold them, and the Lord Yahweh has shut them up." Because in these times, in the past, previous times, will no man be able to do that, because the Most High shut them up. It took that mighty warrior, Holy Spirit away from them, so they won't be able to do that. But once the stuff come upon certain men, they gonna pour it right back out. That's why it says, I want to say in the book of Ezekiel, it says when the enemy should come in like a flood, then he should lift up a standard against them. And that standard is going to be through spiritual power, not with no gun, not none of that other stuff. But anyway, reading on some more, it says in verse 31, it says, "For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. But their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, and the cruel venom of asps. Is not this laid up and stored with me, and sealed up among my treasures?" And reading on some more, we get down to the main point of what's about to take place. In verse 42, I'm going to jump back up too, but I just want to get to this. And better in verse 41, it says, "If I whet my glittering sword," which that glittering sword is talking about them nukes. And it says, "In my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies, and I'll reward them that hate me." Because these nations, they be talking about, people talk about they Christians and all this other stuff or whatever. No, they're not. First of all, they don't even really believe in Yahushua. Then they don't even profess the actual true name, because if they did, then people would come against them. That's why back then they was locking up Paul and Peter and them, and they was getting locked up. That's because they were speaking in the actual name. They weren't saying Jesus back then. At that time, because the letter J didn't even exist. When it says in verse 42, it says, "I will make my arrows drunk with blood." Back to the arrows right there. It said, "I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives, from the beginning of revenges upon my enemies." Now, I'm gonna let this video play, and I'm gonna go back into this other scripture, and I might hit some more precepts. I'm gonna just see what come out.
Same story. Igor, thank you. So Russia is sending medical supplies to the United States. NATO is canceling its military exercises intended to show Russia who's boss. And we've also learned that the U.S. is offering to lift sanctions on Venezuela, although it comes with a caveat, by the way, that the Venezuelan president must offer to share his power with his opponent. But wait. We have just received another bulletin, which kind of changes the emphasis of how we were actually going to originally do this story, because as you can see, we were looking at all these signs that countries were starting to cooperate during this very difficult time. But the President of the United States has just literally thrown a wrench into this story. Breaking news, President...
Which, if you've been paying real attention and researching, you already know the elites giving him his orders. That's why they had these little backroom meetings and shit, and then they come out on TV with this type of stuff.
Trump is now saying that Iran is planning a sneak attack on U.S. troops in Iraq. Upon information and belief, Iran or its proxies are planning a sneak attack on U.S. troops or assets. And if this happens, says the president, Iran will pay a very heavy price.
Well, recently, see, that's how bugged out these damn leaders is. Recently, they were just talking about they want to go help Iran and Russia. Now they're talking about Iran want to do a sneak attack.
Indeed. And he's making this very important global announcement on Twitter, by the way. All right, joining us now, former British MP and international analyst for us, George Galloway, who's good enough to join us. I guess, you know, it's funny, George, I had planned to start this conversation with you about something you and I have been talking about this week, and that is countries maybe growing closer together because of the coronavirus. But this bulletin just arrived from the President of the United States on something he tweeted. Let's say it's you to this.
Well, I suspect that this is as inaccurate as previous pronouncements about Iran. In the case of the assassination of the Iranian general, for example, the whole world now knows that that was based on absolutely false information. I'd be astounded if Iran, in the throes of the pandemic biting so hard into their population, would take any such risk. So I'm sorry that Donald Trump spoiled the atmosphere, which was coming along, as you said, really very well. America is the worst hit country in the world now, and the whole world should come to the aid of America. And that's the international amity that you and I were looking forward to in our conversation just the other day. China, Cuba, all over Europe now, there are Chinese, Cuban, medical personnel, airplanes arriving, equipment, protective equipment, diagnostic equipment, and so on being unloaded. And previous enmities have been melting away, and a new possibility of amity was arriving and arising. And I very much hope that that will continue, because it's clear that no man is an island, no country is an island either, and we geographically are an island. No one is safe from the passage in space via droplets of a hideous weapon, which is nobody's weapon, but is killing indiscriminately and harming indiscriminately. Even politicians, royals, doesn't make any exception for how much of a VIP.
But politics is politics. And let me tell you something about politics in the United States, if you don't know this, George, and I think you do. It has a lot to do with money. And it has a lot to do with people who give money to campaigns. And one of the richest men in the world is Sheldon Adelson. the casino magnate. And I guarantee you that right now he is applauding this tweet by Donald Trump.
I'm sure that that's true. I continue to believe, not many of my fellow thinkers do, Donald Trump's best instincts are not bad instincts. As I listened to him there on your show, he sounded kind of like a big, bluff, naive American whose heart was in the right place. And if Donald Trump would be free to act, I think he'd act a lot better than he has been. He's surrounded by people, funders,
And this guy right. He is surrounded by people. The elites, the bankers, the ones who really call the shots. That's who he's surrounded by. Because the president is just a front man. A lot of people still can't grasp that concept. And these politicians, they are front man. You got the president, you got the governors, senators, all the different little stuff in them different positions. They just to go out on the forefront just so they can speak and comfort the people. Meanwhile, you got these people that you don't see that actually control the money system, the monetary system, and they actually calling the real shots. Which if you go look, it's the information that ain't like I'm just making this up. You go look up information about the black oligarchy or black so-called black nobility or whatever, which they not dark-skinned people. We're just talking about how dark their heart is. But these Edomites that's been ruling for the past 400 or 500 years, they've been fueling the wars, fighting over the oil, going into these different lands, taking the resources, setting up PSY operations, setting up the military bases so they can control the resources. And it's the same old rhetoric.
lieutenants like Pompeo, for example, who is, I think, highly problematic in the U.S. administration, always turning up the volume of aggro, as we call it, rather than turning it down. I believe that we have a situation where the Democratic side of politics in your country hates Russia, and the Republican side of politics in your country hates China, and none of that is doing anybody any good. So I hope that we'll go with Donald Trump's better instincts, that good angel on his shoulder, which says people are surprising me, happily surprising me, with their openness, with their willingness to help us, and we embrace it, and we will reciprocate it implicitly. I think that that's the way forward, and this gives us a new opportunity. We can wipe the slate clean, after this is over. We can start afresh. What went wrong in our societies, why they were so defenseless, such a highly predictable contagious disease. People have been making movies about contagions for a decade. Everyone knew that this kind of thing was possible.
Yeah, you know why they knew? Because a lot of these film directors, these CEOs and all these different people, they read the scriptures too. Anyway, let me go back into this one scripture I wanted to read. It's in the book, back into the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 35. It says, "To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time," which their foot is sliding right now. It says, "For the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste." And that's what you see going on right now. So, I was going to pull some more scriptures out, but I'll make another lesson about this topic later on. And Lord's willing, this is edifying. Hey, man, prophecy speaking, man, these countries turn against each other. Like I say, when they should mention peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them. Because right now it seems like they working together and all that shit. It's just going to be something else to make them turn against each other again, some little military attack, or some type of operation that they set up, some psyop that have them to go back to what they was doing when they bombed that general over there in Iran. So, hey, stay alert, stay diligent. Shalom to the Lord.